Where do songs come from? For me, there's no exact science. Sometimes they arrive perfectly formed in a matter of minutes. Sometimes I need to wander down meandering paths for months. In February 2019, I was in rehearsals for a show I've been doing for kids. There's a section at the start of the show where I'm sat on stage as the audience come in with my guitar and I just play random things. Sometimes I get the kids to shout out letters between A and G and they become the puppet masters of my musical endeavours. But at one point, I started playing these chords with a 60s Ronettes-esque rhythm. When I got home, I recorded the chords on my phone. Often when I've got some chords that I like, I'll just sing a load of nonsense over it, finding melodies and word shapes that feel right. Out of that nonsense, a few words can pop out and resonate. This was one of those occasions. Once I had "Okay Now Breathe," I knew where I wanted the subject matter to go. It's about finding a way to step back when feeling overwhelmed by the never-ending onslaught of negative information that we're hit with in modern life. It was written long before the pandemic, but the words definitely fit the current times too. I started demoing it. I've got a very simple setup at home. That's what I'm using to record these words right now. And that's where I try and flesh out ideas before taking them to the studio.
Are you feeling lost as you cross into the wilderness? Stampede of wildebeest weren't really built for this. Try to keep your head up, but instead there's something stopping you. Feeling weighed down like a piano fell on top of you. Cannot breathe.
This demo had a lot of the elements that would become the basis of the song. I had half of the verses written and the bridge section, but the tempo just didn't feel right. The verses needed more energy to really reflect how it feels to be overloaded with information, but I still wanted it to be informed by the 60s. I find it such a magical period for pop music, where in inverted commas happy songs are also steeped in nostalgia and melancholy. So we took the lead from more of a Motown kind of rhythm. In August 2019, I entered Crosstown Studios, which is Ben McCone's new studio. He's my longtime producer / drummer / collaborator / best mate. This time we were joined by Simon Williams Cole, longtime bassist, also longtime best mate. Ben and Si are an amazing rhythm section, so they laid down the foundation of the song together. We added some layered drums on top to try and give some of that wall of sound flavour. I wanted the flow of the verse to feel like tumbling down a hill, relentless and a bit unpredictable. The onslaught of imagery holding you back is Looney Tunes-esque, like Wile E. Coyote just trying to get on with his day but having a piano fall on his head.
Are you feeling lost as you cross into the wilderness? Stampede of wildebeest weren't really built for this. Try to keep your head up, but instead there's something stopping you. Feeling weighed down like a piano fell on top of you.
I wanted the choruses to give a sense of relief and healing after all the tension that's built up in the verses, but I still wanted them to sound like part of the same song, the two sections. So some dreamy, contemplative electric guitar was kind of used as the bridge between the two. This is played by Si through a Strymon Big Sky pedal. With the synths, we often start with the Juno 6, which is an amazing old synth from the 80s that we've got at the studio. It's all over my Volcano album. It's got just such a wonderful, warm sound. This is played by Si as well. We worked him really hard. Then Luke Allwood, who's a ridiculously talented friend of Ben's, came in and we added some melodic flourishes to the chorus on his Nord. I wanted something euphoric and uplifting, reminding me of the ping pong ball sounds that are in Close to Me by The Cure, but also the beeping noises that are in the chorus of Hey Ya. We wanted to really build up the final refrain of the chorus, so we also added saxophones. There's a tenor and an alto, both are played by Lydia Kenny. She's a brilliant player, but also she's one of my best mate's little sisters. I've known her since she was about 6. Across this whole project, I wanted everyone involved to be family and close friends. I really love sax used in this way, almost like a synth as a texture. Bon Iver does it all the time, and it's such an evocative sound. We also added backing vocals to that section just to really fill it out. Keeping it in-house again, this is sung by my girlfriend, Mo Taylor Hoden. The bridge section of the song then drops down to half the tempo, which reflects the original rhythm that I had come up with in that first recording on my phone. This feels like a real moment to stop and take a breath. Typically with reverb, which is the echoey sound that you hear on recordings, what you do is you run an individual track, for example the vocals, through it. These days it's mostly created by the computer, but Ben has some amazing genuine spring reverb, which is literally a box with coiled up metal which creates the sound. In the 60s they'd often run the whole song through that rather than individual tracks, and that's what we did from the bridge onwards. Ben's studio is in a warehouse that has numerous studios, and they all share a communal space, and in that space there was a random beaten up glockenspiel, and I kept looking at it and I felt just like a forgotten toy from Toy Story. It was sad that it wasn't being used, so we decided to get it singing again. I thought it fitted with the dreaming lyrics of the bridge. Even a beaten up glock can learn new tricks. The song ends with a sample. The "I was dreaming" lyrics reminded me of a home video from a holiday that I'd had with my extended family in Malta when I was about 3.
What's been the best bit about the holiday?
I was waiting to get back. I was dreaming about to get back home.
This album is filled with tales of childhood. Adult me yearns for these sepia memories of the past and keeps returning there. But child me was more concerned with looking forward to the next chapter.
I was dreaming just last night. I was dreaming just last night.